Hi folks, I'm going to take a look at some examples from the homework on page 328. Okay, so we'll start with one from number 1. So 1D here gives us 1/2 squared equals 0.25. So this is a true statement. 0.5 squared is equal to 0.25, and they're asking us to rewrite this in logarithmic form. Okay, so we know that in logarithmic form, okay, this number as a subscript represents the base. So in this case here, the base is 1/2. Okay. And what we have on the other side of the equation would represent the exponent, because the logarithm represents the exponent that gives us the particular answer of 0.25. So this is where we would place our 2, and then this would represent the result of that power. Okay. So this represents base of 1/2 to the exponent of 2 equals 0.25, okay, which is equivalent to what we have up here. Okay, so this is how we can go from exponential form to logarithmic form. Now, number 2, they ask us to actually evaluate the logarithms, and we saw in the lesson video that when the exponents work out nicely, we can actually evaluate these logarithms exactly. Okay. So, question like this, log base 3 of 81. At a certain point, I hope that we can just answer this question without having to do any work. But one thing you can do is give this expression a name. So you're trying to figure out what it is. So we'll give it name x, that's our unknown. And one thing you can always do is rewrite this in exponential form. So as we saw before, what does this equation mean? It means 3 base to the exponent x has to be equal to 81. Okay, and again, this works out nicely because 3 exponent 4 is equal to 81. So x is just equal to 4, but what was x equal to? Just log base 3 of 81. Okay, now again, like I said, hopefully you'll get to the point where you don't have to go through this whole process. Just looking at this expression, you can say, well, it's equal to the power of 3, which is equal to 81. Which is just 4. Okay, let's move on to number 3. So I'm going to do 3c. Okay, now 3c asks us to evaluate log of 1. Okay, now the first thing we notice here is that there's no base specified. Doesn't mean there's no base. It means we assume it's base 10. So this is the same as log base 10 of 1. Okay, so again, you can either just figure it out by saying base 10 to what exponent is equal to 1, and you realize that that would be equal to 0. Okay, exponent 0 of 10 gives us 1. Or if you want to rewrite this in exponential form, give this expression that you're looking for a name, and you can rewrite this as base 10 to the exponent of x is equal to 1, and reason out that x must be equal to 0. So log base 10 of 1 is just equal to 0. Now, by the way, this should not be surprising because we saw that all logarithmic functions, so if you think of this as a function, all logarithmic functions pass through the point 0, 1 when x was equal to, pass through the point 1, 0 when x was 1, y was equal to 0. You can go back and check those graphs. Okay, let's move on to an example from number 4. So number 4, similar to number 2, asks us to change the form of an equation. So we'll do 4b. So what we're given is 5 is equal to log base 2 of 32. And they ask us to change this into an equivalent exponential expression. So we just use our original definition of logarithms, and we know that this is equivalent to writing base 2 to the exponent of 5 is equal to this result of 32, which of course we know is correct. 2 exponent 5 is equal to 32, so that's equivalent to this statement here using logarithmic notation. All right, let's move on to number 10. Okay, do an example of those. So we'll do here 10c, which asks us to evaluate log base 12 of 12. Okay, now here again, remember what this expression represents. It's the exponent of 12 that gives you the result 12. Well, 12 to what exponent is equal to 12? Well, that's just equal to 1. Okay, and again, if I did want to rewrite this as an exponential expression to help me out, I could say 12 to what power is equal to 12, and so that's just equal to 1. Okay, so this whole thing here, if that's represented x, we see that that power should just be 1. Okay, hopefully these help you out. That's it for now.